All right, this conversation needs to happen. $1 starts on Whatnot are not a good idea. I've only been selling on Whatnot for a few months, and I'm really glad that I discovered this now instead of years into this really weird live selling journey that I'm having. Before you start fighting with me in the comments, allow me to explain, because there are obviously a few exceptions. But for most sellers, $1 starts are going to kill your profits. Also, if you enjoy reselling and live selling content, I've been sharing my reselling journey on YouTube since the beginning, and I have no plans to stop sharing it. So if this is your jam, then please consider subscribing. Let's just say that there are 3 different tiers or levels of Whatnot seller out there. Full discretion, I made these up myself. So if you're a mix of a few, or if you don't even fit into one, it's not a big deal. It's not that serious, and it's not that deep. It's just for the purpose of this video. Okay, the first of which is a beginner. So either you just started and have had only a few live shows and you're very much still learning and absorbing as much information as you can, or maybe you started a while ago, but you don't run shows consistently enough or often enough to have a consistently high concurrent viewer count, because this maybe is just a side hustle for you and you don't have that kind of time. The second level is intermediate. You've reached a sweet spot. You have a steady stream of income, consistent shows, you know exactly what to expect from your viewers, and your goal is to either keep it this way and be happy with what you've got, or you're hustling and making the decisions that put you right on the path to growing to the advanced level, and you're likely seeing more and more viewers and sales each month. You've got a growth mindset. And the last level is advanced. Either you're popular enough that you could be selling a jar of dirt and someone would buy it, or you've been on long enough that you've mastered Whatnot. You've got a consistent, steady source for your inventory. You've built a community of regular buyers who know who you are and what to expect from your show, and you get new buyers regularly, and you know exactly what they want and when they want it. You may have some employees to help you with packing and shipping. You may own a warehouse. You're making enough income to compare to a typical 9-to-5 salary, or maybe even more than that. And you're probably a premier shop, which means you have to make at least $50,000 every rolling 90 days. That's a minimum of $200,000 per year. Let's be honest, most of the Whatnot sellers watching this video are probably in the beginner or the intermediate levels, including myself. And if you're in what I've defined as the advanced level, please feel free to leave your wisdom in the comments for us mere mortals. Now, I would argue that there's a 4th level, but I'll get into that in a bit because it relates very well to what I am about to say. If you've never sold on Whatnot before, just like any other selling platform, you have to pay to use it. And also, just like any other selling platform, rather than just paying a flat fee, you pay Whatnot a percentage of every single sale you make. There's a couple of different fee structures based on what you're selling, but the most popular one is this one. And this formula is available right on Whatnot's website if you guys are interested in seeing it again. You don't even have to screenshot it here. So as you can see, there's a few equations within the equation, but basically Whatnot is taking 8% commission plus 2.9% plus 30 cents for payment fees. Let's do an actual simple example so that we can understand this very clearly. Let's say a buyer wins your auction at $10. Let's say in this case they have to pay $5 shipping, and we'll just say 7% for tax. So the buyer is paying $16.05 total. Here's how you'll be charged. The commission is charged on that $10, not the $16.05. So that's 80 cents. Now let's calculate the payment fee. You take 2.9% of the amount the buyer paid, and that equals 47 cents. Then you have to add an additional 30 cents, which totals 77 cents. Now, if we add the 80-cent commission fee to the 77-cent payment fee, you get $1.57. And if we subtract that total from the $10 our customer paid to us, you get $8.43. So that is the amount that is going to go into your bank account. $8.43 on a $10 sale. And if you're curious, if you take that shipping charge out, because sometimes on Whatnot, people will pay $0 in shipping if they have purchased multiple items from you in the same show, because Whatnot has the smart bundling feature. I did the math, and that brings your take-home pay to $8.59. So just a few cents more when someone pays with no shipping. Now, You know where this is going. Let's do the same math. But on this day, you decided to give $1 starts a whirl. And unfortunately, because you're either a beginner or an intermediate seller, there were no bidding wars. So the item actually sold for $1. Let's assume again that the shipping charge was $5 and the tax was 7%, just to keep things simple. So the buyer is paying $6.42. 8% commission on the dollar is 8 cents. And then 2.9% of what the customer paid is 19 cents. Now let's add the 30 cents and you have a total of 49 cents. Now we have to add in that 8 cents from the commission. So now we're at 57 cents. Subtracting that from the $1 sale amount leaves us with 43 cents. 43 cents. Whatnot just took 57% of your sale for commissions and payment fees. But if we break this down even further, you didn't even really make 43 cents on this sale, did you? If you're a small business owner, my guess is that you own a thermal printer. So that means that you print your own labels. And since there's always packing slips with Whatnot, you're at least printing off 2 labels. So let's subtract about 2 to 4 cents from that total. And then subtract another 5 to 20 cents for whatever packing material you have to use to pack the item in, whether it's a poly bag or a box. And then another couple of cents for your thank you card or your sticker or your gift with purchase or whatever it is you send in your shipments to personalize their order. And now you're left with like almost nothing. And here's the real kicker. None of that even included the cost of goods. So this is just assuming that you got the item absolutely free. And we've landed here at probably 0 cents by now. This also does not include the value of your time. Now, I can't place an exact monetary value on any single person's time, but for this one item, it took you time to source it. It took you time to unpack it, to show it on your show, to run it for 10 seconds, to mark it, order number, whatever. And then at the end of your show, print the shipping label off for it, pack it in another box with whatever shipping materials you use. And trust me when I say that amount of time is worth more than just a couple cents. Adding on, if you have to drive to the post office and now you're paying gas and car maintenance money, now you're really just going backwards. Multiply that one sale by 30 and congratulations, you may have just earned enough to buy a Happy Meal in the same amount of time that a teenager working their first job could earn enough to buy a Gucci handbag. Now, I can't claim that $1 starts are a waste of your time and money without talking about a few exceptions to the rule. The one obvious exception being that if you are in the advanced seller level, which is rare. And just as a reminder, I defined the advanced seller as somebody who's either so popular that they could literally be selling anything, even if it's not worth $1. And yes, if you're new to Whatnot, there are absolutely sellers who sell legitimate junk for more than $1 just because they can. And honestly, more power to them because they've done a lot of work to curate their audience. Or you've been on Whatnot long enough that you are a Whatnot master. You're probably a premier shop. These sellers, and only these sellers, have the luxury to start all their auctions at $1 and come out more than profitable, likely because there's enough viewers in their show to create buyer urgency, which causes bidding wars, and they've created an environment where people will stick around to see what they have, and they're selling things that people really want that are hopefully worth more than $1. I've never been in an advanced sellers show that started off an item at $1 and it sold at $1. I've even been in shows where the item started off at $1 and got to over $1,000 in a matter of seconds. However, it's not just advanced sellers that are doing $1 starts. There's another type of seller that I'm not even sure where to place them on my chart, and that's the just for fun seller. Yep, if you've been a buyer or a seller on Whatnot and you've been in lots of people's shows, you've likely had the thought cross your mind at some point, is this person actually making any money? Or how are they able to do this successfully? Even if they procure their inventory for free, they've gotta be losing money, right? Now, I'm not going to say that I've ever personally asked somebody, hey, are you profiting or what? Because that plain and simple would just be rude and confrontational. But it's clear to me after spending countless hours on this app that there are loads of sellers that are just on Whatnot to have fun. They're here to be live. They're here to fill their social needs, which is one of the reasons why I use the app, to be honest. They're here to enjoy the dopamine hits and to provide people great deals at full cost to them. And we have to be frank here. Yes, I am certain that there are sellers on Whatnot who don't actually know that they are losing money. As someone who used to do volunteer financial coaching, I can confirm based on my small education on the topic and my own past experiences with coaching that most people actually don't track their spending at all. And there's actually been recent studies that prove that a little over half of Americans don't. So it doesn't surprise me that there are tons of Whatnot sellers that are unfortunately just actively going into debt, maybe without even realizing it. This is why I'm gonna take a moment in this video to just stress, you absolutely must track every single penny that you spend on your business. It's not just inventory in, inventory out. It's also travel expenses, shipping materials, show materials, subscription services, office supplies, your time, and many more things, all versus your net income after fees. Not to mention, once tax season comes around, you're really gonna be in for it if you have not tracked any of your spending, especially if you get audited. Google Sheets is free, guys. Use it. Not sponsored. Now, let's talk about a possible third exception to the rule. There are probably also sellers who do know that they are actively going into debt with $1 starting bids, but they're using it as a way to increase the number of sales and the number of followers so that they can build a base for their Whatnot business. Now, I don't have personal experience doing this, so I cannot attest to this being something that actually works. However, I have seen sellers who have thousands and thousands of sales and tens of thousands of followers and still sell things for $1 with an average of less than 10 concurrent viewers in their show. Imagine how long it would take a seller to get to those thousands and thousands of sales. And using my calculation from earlier, calculating how much potential debt that seller might be in just to get to that point. I mean, obviously in that situation, it is going to attract more buyers and more followers. However, this isn't something that I can personally recommend doing because not only do I know that it is possible to gain a following and a good number of sales without doing $1 starts because I've done it myself, and I've watched a lot of my Whatnot seller friends and even a few subscribers, cheers to you guys, also succeed this way. But I also believe there's a huge difference in getting just any followers and viewers and getting the right followers and viewers. What I mean by that is if you start your Whatnot journey with $1 starts, you're going to attract an audience that is always going to expect $1 starts. However, if you don't, you're going to attract people who are willing to pay more and know to expect that when they come to your shows. Now, if you've made it this far in the video and you still don't believe me that $1 starts are not a good idea, despite my very detailed math lesson, I'd like to add that I actually personally tested out $1 starts on Black Friday because I'm trying to liquidate some clothing, and you could argue that that's another reason that people do $1 starts, but that's also something that should only happen temporarily and rarely. I sold 31 items, all for $1, except for one item that had a micro bidding war on it, and it got up to $3. And Whatnot had a promotion on Black Friday for sellers where they didn't charge any commission fees that entire day, only the payment processing fee, which is that 2.9% plus 30 cents. So it was the perfect day to experiment on this because even though I knew I was gonna take a loss, it was gonna be a little bit less of a loss than it would have if I would have done it on any other day. Plus, I knew that people would be shopping and hunting for good deals. Well, even without the 8% commission taken out, I still only made like 60-ish cents per sale. So I made a total of $20. Here's my analytics for that show. I was live for almost 2 hours, and I cannot stress enough how stressful this show was for me. First of all, I had hundreds of items, so it was just a lot. My mom was helping me. She was my live-in mod, and we were weighing each item before we ran the show because it was just going to be easier for me that way. It's kind of a lot to explain, but I'm not even gonna go there. Bottom line is, it was a colossal waste of my time, except for the fact that I could put my analytics in this very video to show you guys how not worth it $1 starts are. So now that begs the question, what is a good starting bid? And the simple answer is, a good starting bid is a number that you are comfortable selling the item for and you're gonna profit from, like actually profit. And calculating all of that other cost of goods, travel expenses, shipping materials, and your time. Let's not forget about that. And trust me when I say it's not $2 either. Let's do a realistic example again. Some people source their stuff from thrift stores, and we all know that thrift store prices have gotten a little crazy. You can't get out of any thrift store near me for less than $6 unless it's the Goodwill outlet. So let's just say, for example, that there was a sale at your thrift store and you got an awesome piece for $3 cost of goods. Let's say that you do $5 starting bids, keeping in mind that you're still a beginner or intermediate seller. If there are no bidding wars, you get to take home roughly $3.70 from that. Subtract your $3 cost of goods, and you've made 70 cents on that sale. Let's say you do $10 starting bids, which is a much harder sell in the clothing category, unless you've got something brand new or really high quality. But let's just say you get lucky and someone buys it. Now you're bringing home $8.43, just like our calculation from earlier. Subtract your $3 cost of goods from that, and you're obviously at $5.43. Now, that's actually a decent profit for Whatnot. But again, that's assuming that you get lucky, because I promise you, it's difficult to sell clothing for $10 on Whatnot unless you're an advanced seller. And if you're in the intermediate category, you probably do get sales like this every once in a while, especially if you're in that kind of growth mindset intermediate level. But it's not every single sale, right? Like, I would consider you an advanced seller if you were able to sell 60 items in 1 hour for $10 each. To me, that tells me that you've got the viewership for it. Heck, even if you sold 60 items for $5, if you've sold every single item that you've put up there for $5, I would consider you an advanced seller at that point. This is why I stress that your cost of goods for Whatnot needs to be as low as you can possibly get it. Because as a reminder, $1 sales, even if your cost of goods is $0, you're losing money. Just a quick tip, if you are a clothing seller, please check to see if you have a Goodwill outlet near you. That is where the goods are. That's the only place that I get my clothes. If you don't have one near you, try Facebook Marketplace bulk buys. People sell clothes for really cheap sometimes when they are trying to get rid of stuff. And also check garage sales. For sure. I'm gonna leave you off with a repeated reminder of the best bit of advice I give every single new Whatnot seller that pops into my show, and that's been a lot of you lately. My last Whatnot video got way more views than I thought it was going to, so I've got a lot of people that come directly from that video into my show, like literally every show that I have, and it's friggin' awesome. And a lot of y'all ask for like, what's your best tip? What's your best advice? And I'm gonna repeat it again. Set your starting bid to a number that you are comfortable selling the item for and that you are going to profit off of. Put a monetary value on your time. Calculate all of those things that come with selling an item. $1 starts is not going to bring you profit at this stage, but building a community and being consistent will. I haven't hit 1,000 sales yet, but I'm getting so close to hitting my first 1,000 sales on Whatnot. And when I do, I'm going to make a video about how I got there without using $1 starts. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe. And in addition to subscribing, you can find me in many places on my Linktree, which is always in my bio. I just created a new Instagram account. I would really love if you'd follow me on there. And you're so more than welcome to DM me on there as well. Several of you already have. Just to let you guys know, a lot of your messages ended up in my hidden message requests, so I did not see them until like a month later. I promise I did not respond to them because I don't like you or something. I did not see them. So if that does happen again, I might not respond to your message right away. But I love getting messages from you guys. It's really cool. It's a great way to stay connected. And that would be kind of the only place that you could directly reach out to me unless I happen to be live while you're looking for me. I've also been sharing quite a bit about just my reselling stuff in general on like Instagram stories and some of my personal life too. So if you're interested in seeing some of that stuff, Instagram is where it's at. Also, if you are interested in being a Whatnot seller and you want to make a little bit of extra money, Whatnot has this thing. They give it to every seller. This is not sponsored. Every seller has a link to share with other people. It's just like a referral link. If you use my link that is in my link tree, I'll put it in the description down below as well. You'll get $150 match from Whatnot in your first week. But fair warning, don't sign up with that link until you are ready, because I signed up with someone else's link and I did not know that I had to have a show within that first week of signing up. And the week came and went because I wasn't ready and I did not get that $150 match, unfortunately. When you do make your first sale and you sign up with my link, I get a commission, which is super cool. And some of you guys have already done that and I am so grateful for it. So thank you so much. Also, feel free to put your opinions about $1 starts in the comments. I don't feel like I covered all of the topics about $1 starts. I think there's a lot more that we could talk about. Like, why are we even doing $1 starts? Like, why did it have to get to that point? Why is it a race to the bottom with a lot of things on Whatnot? And why are we focusing on providing the lowest price instead of providing the best customer experience? Just something to ponder. That's all I have for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.